Welcome back to the channel. There's some information that was recently released in reference to Microsoft's internal studios and games that they are working on, maybe working on, and some ideas behind those games. And I found it very exciting because it seems like single player, narrative, deep experiences, the things that I'm looking for, is what these two studios are working on behind the scenes. So we already know that Obsidian is working on Avowed, and that looks like a really big open world Elder Scrolls-esque type of action adventure role-playing game, and I'm sure it's going to be AAA and look absolutely incredible. However, it seems like they are working on another project. Behind the scenes, there is something called Pentiment, and it is described as a murder mystery RPG set in 16th century Europe. And what's interesting about this one is it is quote-unquote not combat oriented, which probably means that it's very heavy in terms of narrative, exploration, and story. And that setting, that sort of dark, mysterious time period, really bodes well for an interesting type of game, especially one centered around narrative and adventure. The Outer Worlds wasn't a game that I really took to. There were some ideas in it that I appreciated, but it just didn't do it for me. And I am excited that Obsidian is still working on things that they do really well, and that's role-playing games. This one sounds very interesting to me, and I love the idea of going to 16th century Europe, that time period. There's a lot of story, and there's a lot of interesting things you can do with that setting, again, that I find really appealing, almost like a Bloodborne-esque type of an era, that kind of atmosphere, if you can imagine that, and being in that world and being in an RPG and being able to do things in that world just sound really cool to me, so I'm interested in that one. Next up, Compulsion Games, makers of We Happy Few, which again was just okay, really didn't resonate with me very well, but again, they're going back and they're creating something, and this one sounds even more interesting than Obsidian's second game to Avowed. So this one's tentatively called Midnight, and it's a third-person action game, dark fantastical world, large magical creatures, single player, and it's a quote-unquote coming-of-age tale. Again, it's said to have a gothic tone, and they even mentioned the American Deep South for inspiration in terms of folklore. So this one sounds really interesting to me, and it is great to hear about two studios that have made single-player RPGs in the past doing what conceivably they do very well. That's continue to make and continue to evolve single-player RPGs for Xbox and for GamePass. This is great all around. I can't wait to play these two games. I love the setting and I love the description of the type of world that you're going to be able to play in. So that's all of the information that we have right now. There's no word on whether or not these are AAA games or these are AA games, the size, the scale, or the scope of them. So I'm not trying to sell these as AAA games. All we know right now is they're working on games that are single player, they're role-playing games, the setting, the environment, the ideas behind them, the sort of DNA of the early development of these games. That's what we have right now to talk about, and they sound very interesting. So you have Obsidian working on Avowed and another RPG game called Pentiment, and you have the developer of We Happy Few, Compulsion Games, working on something called Midnight. That's the information that we have. They sound pretty interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments section below about these two games. Let me know what you think about the games that they have already made. So you have Compulsion Games and you have Obsidian Games, Outer Worlds, and We Happy Few. Did you play those games? What did you think of them? Are you excited about the evolution of the games that these studios will make in the future? Thanks for watching the video. Think about sharing it out on your favorite social media platform of choice. Maybe subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. We're closing in on 300 subscribers. Can't believe it. At the very least, hit that like button. It helps me grow the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.